No, after that, we kind of tried to find him. We couldn't actually find him, actually. Yeah, he was actually got arrested by police.
Your DJ had been arrested by the police.
Yes. So I was like, oh, how did that happen, man? Oh my god, okay.
Why was he arrested? Do you know?
Somewhere near his home, he was doing jaywalking on the street. And then, as you know, Singapore is a fine city,
Very strict, lots of fines, yes. So your DJ was arrested for jaywalking?
Yes.
That's a good one. No wonder he didn't turn up. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are listening. This is Big Ben, and this is Meet the Entertainers. If you are a magician, if you are a juggler, if you do corporate shows and you're an MC, or if you do birthday parties and you're a children's clown, this is the podcast for you. Every couple of months I interview another entertainer and I find out all about their tips, all about their experience and everything that they've been getting along with. And this week I'm very happy to be talking to a great MC from Singapore, Mr. Stephen Lee. Yay!
Yay! Nice to see you again, Ben.
It's great to see you, Stephen.
Really, really quite some time to meet you. And of course, to all entertainers out there, if you are listening to us, I hope you enjoyed it. And maybe we get to share a little bit more about us.
Thanks, Stephen. Okay, if someone in the world doesn't know who you are, and you meet someone for the first time, and they say, "What is your job?" What do you tell them when they ask you, "What do you do for a living?"
First thing I'll tell them, say I'm an MC.
Yes.
A master of ceremony that hosts events.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Okay, let's get down to my questions. I got about 10 or 11 questions that I've been researching about. Here we go.
Okay.
So, here's my first question. Right, question 1. If you use a broomstick as a guitar and maybe a toilet brush as a drumstick, what could you use as a microphone?
A toilet plunger.
Yeah, what I'm talking about is if you search for Stephen Lee on YouTube, you will find quite a lot of really funny videos of your stage game. You're obviously doing a corporate event. You've got some great volunteers on stage. Now, I want to know later how you managed to pick such good volunteers. They're on stage, and you've got music playing in the background, and they've got a broomstick to pretend to use as a guitar. They've got a toilet plunger to pretend to use as a microphone. There's one guy maybe with toilet brushes pretending to play the drums. And it's such a funny collection of videos you've got on YouTube. So I want to know, how do you set up this game? How do you pick the right volunteers? And how do you do the game? What is it? Is it a competition or what happens? So how do you set it up? How do you pick the volunteers? And how do you organize and run this really fun game?
Okay, in the beginning, I will just kind of split them up into two teams, which is the left and the right side of the ballroom.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe team A versus team B. Then first we get them rah-rah. Okay, people from team A, are you ready to go? And then from there they'll make as much noise, get them roaring going. Team B, the same thing. And then from there, when you go down to the crowd to pick up your volunteers, of course, you will try to look out for the most noisiest one.
Yeah.
Because they are usually the most sporting one.
Yeah.
And then from there, if you can't get the most noisier one, get the most quiet one to appoint the volunteer to get up on stage.
Get the most quiet one. Get the most quiet one to point to.
Yes.
Okay, so they get the quiet one to choose the noisy one. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Wow.
Because sometimes usually the quietest one is the most shy one.
Yeah.
So when you kind of trigger their emotions a little bit, they'll they are not sure, they quickly point to somebody in the company that is really popular.
Ah, yes.
So that's how you get them.
That's a good
Then
one.
after that, when you get them coming up, okay, now what we're going to do today is that we're going to split you guys half in the ballroom, and then we're going to have a live concert all the way. First time happening in Singapore. People pay $500, $1,000 a night just to watch you. But before that, I will have to give you some equipment for being a live band, right?
Yeah.
So I'll bring up things like mops, broom, toilet plungers, toilet brushes, and that's where it all begins. Yeah. Then in between, as if they are still going crazy all about, if they can't go crazy with all the utensils that we have given them, I'll just stop them halfway through, and I'm not sure whether do they have this in Hong Kong. Usually I'll say, well, this band is supposed to be a rock band, but it sounds more like a 7-month ghost festival band, something like that, just to create a little bit of fun. And from there, we actually kind of encourage, and then you as a host, you have to participate in the game as well. So you are the main leader of the whole situation. If not, I guess the crowd would not actually follow you.
Yeah. So you're getting involved. You're leading them, showing them what to do. You've already picked, hopefully, the noisiest, most lively volunteers, and I guess you have background music playing a certain song.
Yes, usually the couple of songs that I would actually get is "I Hate Myself for Loving You."
Okay.
By John Jett and the Blackhearts.
Yeah.
If not, "It's My Life" from Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
The things that people can actually sing along.
Yeah.
Because if you get a rock song that people cannot actually sing along, it's very hard to follow.
Okay. Yeah, you've got to pick the right song, a song they can sing along to. How about, do you need to control the music? Are there any musical cues? The music stop, the music starts, or is it just play?
Usually I'll tell the DJs when to stop, when to play. I'll say, okay, pause, okay, stop, let's go, let's start again. Something like that.
Right.
Hint the DJs from that way.
And
because, as you know, in Singapore, sometimes we don't actually get our regular DJs at every time.
Yes.
So every time going through, it could be a hassle. So what we do is that instead of going through the program, sometimes we just say, okay, later on, this is going to happen. And then when I say pause, you just take a pause.
Yes. So you just have to, before you start your performance, you have to tell the DJ, if he hasn't worked with you before, I'm going to tell you when to press pause. Yeah. Okay, got it. And how does the game end? Is it a game where they get prizes, or do you have different ways of doing it?
How we're going to end the game is, for example, both teams has performed their Battle of the Band. Then I'll bring up, okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you like Battle of the Band A, you make as much noise as possible. If you like the Battle of Band B, you make as much noise as possible. If not, you don't make noise at all. So that is how we get them roaring and gathering as much as they can. So usually my parties are really noisy. That's how I get them going.
Yeah, I forgot. So at the very start, you said you split it into the left and the right. So you've got two teams, and each team has a band, which you try one, and then you try the other band, and then you get the crowd cheering for which band was the best. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay,
that's
got
how
it.
I do it.
All right. Here's my next question. Brilliant one. That was a good one. Oh, my next question is sort of the same question. I was watching the videos on YouTube. What can you do with a bag of what looks like straws? I saw. Yeah, what are they doing?
Okay, that is that game is actually to get it's like get them going in the beginning of the party.
Okay.
So what they do is that they get the straws to build the tallest tower they can build with straws.
Right.
So the whole table kind of get involved. Let's say, for example, in the table you may have the accounts department, the marketing department, the sales department. They have never met.
Right.
So that is how I actually get them to know each other. That's one. Two, they have to help each other.
Yeah.
Three, teamwork has to always play a part.
Right.
And fourthly, they get to know each other a little bit better, so that when they get back to the company where they work, they can kind of oh, I need this to be rushed, or what is your situation? They kind of understand each other a little bit more when you play team building games like this.
Yeah, so it's actually got a corporate purpose, which I guess you can mention to the client when you're selling yourself. Yeah, it is corporate team building, isn't it? Getting departments to work together.
Yes.
Okay, so they just have to slot the straws together to try and build up a huge tower.
Yes.
And this is a warm-up game. Of course you need a warm-up game. Yeah, got it. Good one.
Yes, but recently, because of conservation efforts, which is straw has been kind of slowed down. So instead of using straws now, I've changed it to using newspaper. To make the high-rise towers.
How do you make it out of newspaper? Do they have some scotch tape or something to stick it together, or they just have to...
Yeah, usually I'll give them a little bit of scotch tape and a whole sack of newspaper, and it's up to them to have a creativity to start building the towers.
That's good. I like it. That's brilliant. All right, here's the real question, Sue. What did you do in October 1986?
Oh my God, 1986.
Basically, I'm asking, is this one of the first times you ever got to work as an MC or work in this sort of world? Because it's on, I think I saw it on your CV or something. It said first MC on stage, first time MCing, or first time, it was October 1986. I was like, whoa, you must have been young. What were you doing?
Oh wow! During that time, it was the first time being on stage. The MC didn't turn up for work actually, and what happens was my boss just told me, "Hey Steven, you got to go on stage and then start doing this, start doing that." I was wondering, I never did games before. I never been on stage before, so to me it was okay. Let's try something. So I went up on stage, I started the game. I don't even know how the game was started. I start asking for chairs, tables to bring it on stage, and my boss was waving, hey, no chairs, no tables. It's just a question and answer. Okay, that's how it all begins.
So you were working in an event company, and what was your job?
I started as a crew, a roadie, a person that carries speakers, sound system, disco lights, plugging in the power source, get electrocuted once in a while. That's how I started.
And why did the boss pick you? Were you a lively young guy? Did he know that you'd be good on stage?
I was the noisiest among all the staff though.
Right.
Yeah, that is how he says, hey, this guy is the most noisiest, I think we should give him a chance and see how.
Oh, brilliant. What a great way to start.
Yes.
So yeah, that's good, because I've had a few stories like that. Let's see, I think it might have been an MC called Rico, who you might know, also in Singapore.
Oh yes.
I think someone didn't turn up and he was forced to go on stage as the MC. Same sort of story, I think. And he said, yeah, he said it's good because no time to get nervous. If they tell you like 3 months in advance, or on this 3 months time you're going to be on stage, you've got 3 months to get really nervous. But if it's just the last minute, just now, just go. I mean, there's no time to get scared, and really, if you fail, it's not really your fault because you've never done it before. So yeah, why not?
Well, at least you tried.
At
least you tried.
Yeah, excellent. Question 3. What did you do in the zoo in 2015, 2016, this sort of time?
Oh yes. I was being requested by one of the directors to actually join the zoo. So I went in as an animal presenter, and I have 2 main core of the job. First was to train animal presenters.
Okay.
And 2 was to train animals with you on stage. Wow. So because what happens is that being an animal presenter, being a MC on stage, you only take care of yourself in corporate events and the stage. But when you are animal presenter on stage, sometimes the animal does not kind of listen to what you say,
of course,
or maybe do something else that is you may not expect that they'll do.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is to actually maybe use that to have a little bit fun with the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's, some people call it improv comedy, some people call it impromptu,
Yes.
some people call it thinking on your feet. So I was actually there to tell people, tell all our presenters to train the presenters on how fast can we think on our feet,
Yes.
and how can we change the situation from not so good to very good.
Yeah, oh, this is very interesting because everybody who's been to a zoo in any country, there's almost always a stage show. Maybe they have some seals or sea lions, or maybe they have some birds flying in Jurong Bird Park. And these presenters were trained by people like you. Yeah, that's what you were doing.
Yes, during that time, yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was a really interesting job because working with animals is it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Because they have no hidden agenda.
Mm.
They only got three things that they bear in mind: food, mate, and habitat.
Yes.
So they are really, really nice to work with. Yeah.
Wow.
As what one of our animal trainers was telling me one day. He was saying, "Hey Stephen, can you bring out all the 11 home cats for training today?" So it was like first 3 weeks onto the job. So I turned around and looked at him. I said, "You are talking about all our domesticated home cats for training for shows, right?" He said, "Yeah, released 11 of them." I was wondering, can cats be trained?
Yeah.
So he turned around, he looked at me, and he says this thing. He says, "All animals can be trained except for some human beings." So I guess when I actually seen it live with cats with him, actually it was very interesting. We can actually give instruction to cats. They can actually jump from roof to roof.
Wow.
And they are so easy to work with because they don't have hidden agendas. Their main life form is only food, habitat, and mates. So
Yes.
they are actually all you have to do is just bond with them.
Bond with them.
Yeah, the main important, bonding with them is something very, very important. If you do not bond with them well enough, giving an instruction or tell them what to do, it's going to be very difficult.
Wow, I didn't get
So
that.
when
I've seen people train dogs, and dogs can do tricks. Everybody knows that, but cats I didn't know. So how do you train a cat? Do you offer them some food if they jump through a hoop? Is it something like this?
Yes, first you will maybe start off from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Just walk from point A to point B. So every time you give them a treat after they did point A from point B. So they understand that, oh, if I do point A and point B, or if I call out your name and you come, it means something. So you give them a treat. So that is how they actually feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
And then from there, you start to bond, you start taking care of them, you start cleaning up. Especially animals, when you start cleaning them, washing them, cleaning up their cages, they know that you are actually taking care of them.
Oh,
so
yes.
as months and years goes by, whenever they look at you, they will kind of respect you as a leader of the pack.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Yeah. What was the what animals did you work with then, apart from domestic cats?
I had about 7 dogs, 11 cats, couple of rats, couple of pheasants. I had a couple of birds. There was one really interesting bird, a cockatoo.
Okay.
Her name is Ella. She has never actually spoken to anybody, and nobody has actually spoken to her. So I had a very tiring and stressful day. And there was one day when I was walking by a cage, she kind of sensed what I'm feeling. She would just come over and say, "Hello." And straight away it brightens up your day. And that was the day me and her, we became best friends.
Brilliant. Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna have to interview some more animal performers because I haven't really looked into this very much. I've interviewed magicians, even obscure stuff like mentalism. I've interviewed MCs, birthday. I haven't really interviewed someone who works so much with animals. Just wow, it's very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Yes, yes.
All right, next question. It's also about similar sort of thing. Do you know a lot about Pulau Ubin and conservationism?
Okay. It started with me since 2016, about 3 to 4 years ago. Being an MC in Singapore, sometimes you have a little bit too much time in your hand.
Yes.
And what happens I love nature quite a bit. So I was being recommended by a friend, says that, hey, Stephen, why not you become a volunteer in Pulau Ubin?
I should probably tell people who listen overseas what Pulau Ubin is. It's a small island. It's part of Singapore, a small island off the coast of Singapore.
Yes.
And it's pretty much in its natural state. Is that right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. It has not changed since the 60s till today.
Yeah.
And what happens was when I started there as a volunteer, so what I do is every week I'm there being a researcher and a surveyor. So I take notes on butterflies, birds, mammals, plants, how are they growing, are they growing well, and then there is certain parts of the island which is being struck by lightning. So what happens is that we have to kind of reforestation so that the animals can have back their homes and the insects can have back their homes. And after doing that for about 3 to 4 years, recently I was just being awarded as a nature guide from Singapore Tourism Board.
Whoa! I'm clapping. This is very interesting This is very interesting for entertainers because you're right. Most of us, we can get very busy sometimes at the weekends, but sometimes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there's not so much to do. So sometimes you have to work out what to do, how to be productive in these periods when there isn't any work.
Yes.
For me, I generally keep fit. I go for walks, cycle rides, unicycle rides, and because I have 2 kids, then I do stuff with my kids, look after the kids, be a dad. But yeah, you're right. There can be a lot of downtime in our kinds of careers. So you have channeled it into conservationism. Brilliant.
Yes, because I guess Singapore is really small, and we actually have quite a lot of animals. We have things like samba deer, we have pangolins, we have bats, we have a lot of butterflies. Like for example, the first day when I volunteered in Pulau Ubin Ant Parks, I was doing butterflies, and this ant park officers was telling me, say, Stephen, did you know that in Singapore we have about 300 species of butterflies? I say, since when we got butterflies in Singapore? I've never seen butterflies in Singapore. But that particular day we have actually collected the data, which is about 50 over species of butterfly.
Wow.
Then so
and just quickly to jump in,
it was quite shocking, though.
When you say N Parks, for people overseas, that's the national parks of Singapore. It's the government organisation that looks after the parks, isn't it? The N Parks, national parks.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. I was kind of very lucky to be taught by the N Parks officer. That's how I got my nature guide license today. Yeah.
Brilliant. Great stuff. Tell me about a publication in 2010 called How to Present and Public Speaking. Did you write a book? It says
I write a book?
Tell me about a publication in 2010. It was called How to Present and Public Speaking.
Was it mine?
I think so. Okay.
Oh, really? Okay. About I think in 2008 or 2010, during that time, I was being encouraged by my father, my dad. He said, you have been emceeing, you have been doing all this DJing stuff, entertainment stuff for so long. Where have you been? Why don't you join a Toastmaster Club in Singapore and let me see what are your results like? Because he, being from a police officer point of view, you know, in Singapore, if you are not a lawyer, if you are not a doctor, if you are not an engineer, you are a loser.
Yes.
You know, the kind of the thing that he was looking at me. So I went to join this club called the Toastmaster Club, and what happens was they have a lot of theories on public speaking, how you can actually speak even better, present even better. So what happens was, through so many years of my experience and together with Toastmaster Club's material, I kind of put everything together, including my animal presentations, a little bit of radio experience. So I put everything together, and I came out a little, I wouldn't call syllabus, maybe a guideline to help those who are interested in doing presentations or doing public speaking. So it took me nearly a year to put this together. It was difficult, but finally I get it done, though.
Right. Okay. Cool. I wondered what that was. Okay. Question 6. Where can we find you on the internet? If someone wants to check you out, I would say YouTube there seems to be some pretty good videos of you on YouTube.
Yes, I think in Singapore, most of us are on YouTube.
Yeah.
Most of us are people like Rico, Serial, couple of MCs. We usually market by YouTubes. And as you know, a couple of years when you were in Singapore, we usually sell our services to event companies, to entertainment companies.
Yeah.
And from there, they will kind of bring your video along, bring your posters along, bring your write-up along to the client.
Yes.
Okay, this is the in-house MCs that we have. You can actually select from here. You can watch their video, and then if they have selected you, sign the contract. The bottom line. Usually they will have a meeting between you, the event company, and the client.
Right.
So that is where we speak about the program lineup, how we going to design the program. That is one of the most important, because if you do not design your program of your dinner and dance or your corporate event properly, it may kind of drop the whole morale of the party.
Yes.
Yeah, that is, I think, the most important.
Wow.
The program, actually.
So if people want to check you out, just go to YouTube and you can type in something like Stephen Lee, Stephen with a V,
yes.
Stephen Lee, MC Singapore, and they will see videos. And what you're saying is you work with an event company, and the event company will be contacted by a client to host their annual corporate dinner, and maybe the event company will propose you, and you will have to meet the client, and you have to present to the client what you're going to do. And
yes.
I guess you have to adapt your games to fit their any themes that they have or any corporate messages.
Yes, usually what we do is that the first thing we find out is what is the theme, where is the location, how many packs. Then usually we'll find out, okay, what do your company actually do? Things like if you are a production company, or are you a chemical company, or are you a banking company? Because from there you can kind of find out whether their crowd is very serious, very playful.
Really?
Kind of find out their characters. Yeah.
So which kind of company has a lively crowd? Which kind of company do you know will have a really fun crowd?
My favorite kind of crowd is production crowd, like people like Seagate, production crew, electricians, electrical engineering, all this. They are really fun people,
Right.
And especially in Singapore, we have a lot of foreign workers with us, people from Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, India, Bangladesh. So when they all come together, they are lovely to play with, and they are so much fun to play with. Yes, they are the best actually to play with.
What is Seagate? I've got a Seagate portable hard drive. Is that what it is?
Yes, it is a production company where all the staff, making it's like a production line. All the staff works in production.
Oh, it's a factory. They're building these portable hard drives. Is that right? Almost like a factory.
Yes.
And these kind of crowds are great fun.
Yes, the production worker, they are great fun. They are the best of the best.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I would say, if you want to know what is your worst kind of crowd, usually are the accountants, the architects. Yeah, they tend to want to, hey, I'm a doctor, I'm an architect, don't talk to me this way.
Right.
We are just here to drink, and we are not here to have fun with you on stage, I mean, it is once a year party. You should let go, have fun.
Right.
This is the thing that it doesn't happen every day, and this is the time that any department that you work with, people will get to know you a little bit more. Hey, this guy is so much fun. He's such a nice guy.
Yeah.
Instead of going to, this guy, I don't know him, he looks so angry all the time, This is the time where dinner and dance, family day, where you let go, have a bit of fun, everybody gets to know a little bit of each other.
Yes.
And then when you get back to office, you kind of, that day, hey, I saw you doing this, you were so much fun. And then when you work together as a team, it gives you that I would say.
And this can be a selling point for you. I mean, do you get repeat bookings if you do a good event for somebody? Do they ask you back?
Yes.
But is that a problem? Because then you have to have new games for the next year. Is it how do you deal with that?
I will try. The maximum, let's say for example, a company who calls me maybe. I've actually serviced companies from 5 to 7 years.
Whoa.
So many. Oh wow! And every time we meet up, I was like, oh my god, what joke am I going to use today? What kind of game am I going to propose? Yeah. So sometimes I do tell them, says that, hey, maybe you should try different MCs.
Yes, of course.
They may have different games, different jokes for you.
Yes.
And the best part is that the new generation of entertainers are coming up. They may have new ideas for you.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But sometimes they do insist. But sometimes we will try to tell them, there are other in-house MC from the event company. Not that I do not want their business, but sometimes
if they book you for the 6th or 7th time, if they book you for the 6th or 7th time, you can't have a whole 7th set of games. There's going to be some repetition, isn't there? Lots of repetition.
Yes. Especially the jokes on stage.
Yes.
You're so used to using them.
That's right. Because how are you going to remember if you said that joke last year's event? You can't remember.
Yes.
There's no way you're going to remember.
Yes.
Yeah. I see. Oh, talking about jokes. How many languages do you speak? Because Singapore is quite multicultural. Do you speak
Yes. For me, English, that is the most basic. Mandarin is only conversational. I speak, my family is Hokkien.
Right.
And I speak Teochew. I speak a little bit of Cantonese. I speak Malay quite well.
Wow.
Tamil, very little.
Oh, gosh.
And I speak a little bit of Tagalog. I speak a little bit of maybe some Italian.
Wow, no one can see, but I'm bowing down.
Yeah.
I'm bowing down.
No. I mean, being an entertainer, especially in Singapore, we have people all over the world. Really, we do have people all over the world. And sometimes in a dinner and dance, it's like an ASEAN summit.
Yeah.
You get Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand.
Yeah.
The whole Asia is with you that night.
Yeah.
So you kind of want to learn a little bit more. Or maybe you have friends from German. Then you tell them, hey, how do you speak? How do you ask somebody, how are you? Send out greetings, and then your friend will say, okay, you can use this Guten Tag, and then
Guten Tag,
from there you expand a little. From there you kind of expand a little bit more, and stuff like that, and you get them going. It's really fun actually, and not only that, but if you sometimes the people knows that you are Singaporean and you try to speak their language, they actually appreciate you even more.
Yes, if you can speak a little bit of their language, it can really help the show, especially if they're on stage and they're a volunteer and you can speak a bit of their own language. Yeah,
they love it.
Because my Mandarin is terrible, but I speak maybe as much as I can speak Mandarin maybe as much as an 18-month-old baby or a 2-year-old baby, but even that is just enough to get things going on stage. Say I pick a volunteer and he doesn't speak English, he only speaks Mandarin, I can still do my act. I can say, 2 hands, 2个手, and I'm holding 2 hands. Gay war, give me. And you can get through, and it really helps. Yeah.
And especially for you, being a white guy, and then when you speak Mandarin, all of them will be...
Yeah, it really helps. It's a good tip. If you can learn a little bit, and you don't need to learn much. I mean, I can't. If they talk back to me in Mandarin, I really don't have much idea what they're saying. But I have enough.
All you have to do is
but I can give a few instructions, and that's okay. Yeah, I have to scratch my head if they talk back, if they answer. It's a good tip. Yeah, learn some foreign languages, and it's great. It's great for your whole life, not just on stage. If you know more languages, it's wonderful. All right.
Yes, that's what my dad always tell me. Learn a new language, and that is an asset to you.
Yeah. Question 8, one of my favourite questions. Have you had any nightmare gigs? Gigs where maybe it's not your own fault, but things just haven't worked. Nothing's gone right. Have you had any? I've fallen into swimming pools. I've left my main prop behind at the previous show, and I go for it, and it's not there. At that moment on stage, it's like, oh no, I've left it behind at the other show. Have you had any? That's my fault, but it doesn't have to be your fault. I've been to shows where the audience can't see me because there's a giant pillar in front of the stage.
Oh my god!
You're in a restaurant or something. You're in a restaurant.
I had a really. Oh my god! Okay, talking about it, I had a really experience this one. We were there for a dinner and dance. It was like 100 pax.
Yeah.
And then throughout I was there like 6:30, and I was waiting for my DJ to turn up. Until about 7:30, the starting of the program, my DJ didn't even turn up for work.
Oh no!
So I was like, oh my god, what am I supposed to do? Who's going to play music for me? I got fanfare, I got VIP coming on stage to give speech, I got award ceremony and stuff like that. I was like, oh, what am I going to do today? Oh shit. I can't handle. And that time was during the early 90s where we are still using turntables, and karaoke was still using large discs like the laser discs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, and then the client was coming to me, hey Stephen, are you ready to go for the show? So I was biting the bullet and said, yes, I'm ready to go, and let's start the event. So what I did was, luckily, I brought a non-stop CD.
Yeah.
A non-stop CD during the time. So I had an LD player, and what happens is that I remember all the tracks that I have in the CD, and I had a remote control in my pocket.
Brilliant.
Yes. So what I did was I left the fader up high.
Yeah.
And as and when I just play track 1, play. Track 2, play. Track 3, play. When nobody was inside the DJ console, but the music was going. Wow. It was like, oh wow! It was a happening event going on, but nobody knows that the DJ wasn't there actually.
Oh, that's brilliant! I'm clapping again. So you managed to do a show, a DJ show, without the DJ, because you had a laser disc and you knew the tracks and you had a remote control and you were able to get by. That's brilliant.
Yes. Oh wow, that day was, oh my goodness, I was sweating from head to toe. By the time the disco hours started, my boss came running in and said, "Hey Stephen, okay, you still okay?" I said, "Yes, I need somebody to play the music for the disco part right now. Let's play the first music. Okay, let's start with YMCA, get everybody going." Oh my God, after that I was like, oh, the show has been done.
Wow, that's brilliant. So, do you carry a remote control with you normally? Why would you carry a remote control?
Because it was a karaoke plus DJ night.
Right.
So it's supposed to be a dinner and dance, and then there was some singing, there was supposed to be some dancing, and then the event company that I'm working for, it has its own equipment, so they brought things like turntable, laserdisc player, and then there was no other crew other than me. I'm alone.
Yeah.
So they brought the remote control. Sometimes you need the remote control to play the tracks on laserdisc.
Yeah. So luckily
I had the remote control with me. So that particular remote control actually saved the day, man.
Yeah. Wow. Talking about things you carry with you to shows, and what do you carry with you? Is there anything unusual or anything that you take to every single show just in case, or you use in every show? When you go to a show, what do you take with you?
First thing is our suits, our dressing, the theme of it.
Yeah.
Second thing is all your game props, most of your game props that you propose. Thirdly, you have to bring additional game props just in case you have a bit more of time slot.
Right.
Fourthly is you have to plan ahead just in case entertainers come late or come early.
Yes.
Especially December period. Sometimes they have to rush one show to another show.
So what you're talking about is people. You're talking about people like me. We are booked to do half an hour at one corporate event, and then I do my magic show, and then I travel to another hotel and do another corporate show somewhere else. So you're the MC, and you're hoping that the entertainer arrives on time, so that you can take a half-hour break and the entertainer can do his show on stage. But you have to be ready in case the entertainer doesn't turn up on time, so you've got extra stuff to do. Yeah.
Yes, so you got to get in some props. Or if not, you can do this. Recently, I kind of adapted to doing stand-up comedy.
Wow. Yeah.
So I will tell jokes, on stage until the entertainer turn up. Okay, then I'll turn around to the DJ console and they give me the thumbs up.
Yeah.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome Ben Matthew.
Yeah. Oh, sorry I'm late. Sorry. Yeah. Oh yeah, stand-up comedy. That's a good one because you don't need any props. You just gotta do your research and practice and get some jokes and some improvisation ready in your head, so you can just fill in an extra 5-10 minutes if you have to. Yeah.
Yes, that's how you get things going. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, question 10. What is your favourite warm-up game, and does it involve napkins?
Oh yes. Oh yes. Okay. My favorite warm-up game, usually what I do is that I'll split the ballroom into half. Okay, I'll find a team leader from team A, I'll find another team leader from team B, and what happens is that, okay, now team A, you're the team leader of this team. Team B, you're the team leader of this team. So I need you to find a team name for your team. That's one. So sometimes they come up with weird names, and I'll make fun of that name, things like that. Then after that, okay, I'm going to pass you the mic. What I want you to do is you have to say 1, 2, 3, and your side team has to make as much noise as possible. I will give you 1,000 points.
Right.
So at the end of the evening, when we consolidate the points, the whole group of your team will walk away with the prize.
Right, yes.
So I usually like to start with that. And what happens is that, then maybe team A has 1,000 points. So I'll tell team B, don't worry, I'm going to try to get more points for you. So the next game we're going to do is that I want you to gather for me the tallest person in your team, or the shortest, or find for me the most belts that you can find in a team, or you can find me the highest high heel shoe that you can find in your team.
Yes.
Or the longest hair lady in your team.
Yeah.
You know, you get people running around in the ballroom. Okay, hey, you are the one. Come and help me. You know, you get everybody in the ballroom running first. The moment they get used to running, that's it. The crowd is in your hand now.
Perfect. I love it. I saw some videos where you were emceeing kids games. Your children on stage.
Oh, yes.
So do you ever have children on stage doing stage games? Are you an MC at children's events sometimes?
Oh yes, sometimes you know, being an entertainer, you have to be an all-rounder. So you have to have a list of children's game, adults game, question and answer game, music title games, things that are simple, straightforward, and things that are complicated, like treasure hunt makeup. So you have both worlds. So you get a little bit more business, I would say. Yeah, you get paid a little bit more also.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, have as many. So if someone comes to you and it's a children's event, you've got games that you can play with the kids.
Yeah.
What's your favourite game to play with kids on stage?
Favorite? Oh, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Boogeyman. Yes, this the Hall of Justice, I call it. So, for example, if when I say Superman, you got to raise your hand, flying like Superman.
Yes.
You know, when I say Batman, you got to put your two hands on your eye like this, as wearing a mask. Then if I say Wonder Woman, you are supposed to pose like Wonder Woman with your arms on your waist.
Yes.
And then when I say Boogeyman, you got to shake like a boogeyman. So the faster I go, the faster you have to act out the character. And then once in a while, I'll slot in things like some popular artists. Okay, Superman, Batman, Robin Hood. Oh, sorry, I never include. Or sometimes I put people like very popular names. Yeah, to create fun.
All right, we're almost on my final question here. Let's see. Oh yeah. Question 11, Stephen Lee. What is your favourite stage game? Or if you don't have a favourite, what is the game that you've been working on most recently?
One of my favorite stage game, it is called Treasure Hunt Makeup.
Treasure Hunt Makeup?
Treasure Hunt.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. The part one of the game is Treasure Hunt. There is a few items that you have to look for me. Okay, so for example, things like a pair of earrings, a pair of high heel shoes, a lady's handbag, a stocking, a lady's stocking, maybe a couple of chopsticks, a napkin. Okay, so when they then I'll tell them, says, okay, and the most important part is that I need 2 ladies and a gentleman from the list of the things that I want to look out from the treasure hunt. So the team leader will go and gather all this stuff and bring them on stage. So I'll go through one by one. Okay, you got all the items correct. Team B, okay, you got all the items correct. So this is only part 1 of the game. So now we're going to move on to part 2 of the game. So all of them was like, okay. So now what are we going to do? So what I'll do is that I'll get the guy seated. Okay, I'll give the ladies lipstick, feather boa, plus all the high heel shoes, all the items that they have collected. Okay, I want you to transform this gentleman into a perfect lady. Yes.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that.
Yeah. So they'll get them dressed up, put balloons inside their shirts and stuff like that. Then you have been in Singapore for quite some time, so I'll call the first lady. Okay, this lady comes from Changi. This lady comes from Deska Road, because lady boys are very popular in these 2 areas in Singapore.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Ladyboys is a Singaporean word for kind of transvestites, men who dress as women. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Then I'll interview them first. Okay, what is your name? Then usually they'll say their own name. Oh, my name is James Poe. I say, excuse me, now you are a lady. You are not James Poe anymore. During the interview, you start, digging, screwing them around, trying to tease them here and there. And then you see, if you are ready, when the DJ play the music, you give us a perfect 3 pose. And the last part, I want you to tell everybody, baby, I love you. That's how it ends.
Brilliant. And that's how this will end, Stephen. It's really good talking to you.
Yes.
Thank you so much, buddy. It's great to see you again.